Hello, friend. Today's kitchen location is La Paz, Bolivia. But we're not cooking a Bolivian dish today. We're cooking a Peruvian dish. And I may or may not have smuggled some special potatoes over the border. This is kind of crazy. When we were going through the mercado in Cusco, Peru, I saw these huge bags of what looked like they might be moldy rocks or something white, and I couldn't figure out what they were. Let me show you. They look like this. And oh, there's a little dust. They're pretty hard. And I know that they're in the potato section. And when I looked at this, I thought, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know how to prepare this, but I want to find out. I want to find out how you cook this and what do you do with these. So today we'll be making a very simple ancient potato dish called Moraya con Queso. Freeze-dried potatoes with cheese. Okay, so I already tipped my hand a little bit and I let you know that these are freeze-dried potatoes, whole potatoes. And the question is, how did they get this way? Now, of course, I'm thinking, I don't know, they must go through some normal freeze-drying process in a factory, controlled, that sort of thing. And I couldn't be more wrong. These awesome potatoes are freeze-dried naturally up in high in the Andes. And this is a way of preserving potatoes that is ancient, hundreds or even thousands of years old, done completely naturally. These potatoes are dug up, left to hang out in the sun for a while, and then overnight in the sub-zero temperatures, they freeze. And then again in the morning, they warm up and they start to dry out. And this process kind of goes on and on until they're freeze-dried, until they're like little rocks. And these will keep for forever, I guess. Definitely will keep for years. So how clever was that, and who figured that out, right? This has been going on for so long, and it's one of the oldest ways of preserving that's known. And these little rocky potatoes are still cooked and used today, very prevalent in the markets, and I can't wait to show you how we cook them. So first of all, we have to take our little hard rocks and turn them into sponges. They need to be rehydrated, just like dried beans or other legumes or even like a freeze-dried packet that you get when you go hiking. You have to rehydrate it first. Let's get going on that. Funny thing is, at the mercado, the vendor was very insistent that these were only sold by the kilo and nothing smaller. So now I have 2.24 pounds of these dried potatoes, so I sure hope we like them. Okay, first of all, we're going to give them a very good rinse. I'm not sure how long this will take or what exactly I need to do, but we'll find out. We'll figure it out. Okay, now that I have them scrubbed off and rinsed well, and I kind of scrubbed them a little bit with my fingers, we're going to put them in this largish pot overnight, and we're going to let them soak overnight. So we're going to put in enough water to cover the potatoes, and then we're going to change the water a couple of times before tomorrow morning. And through the magic of YouTube, will be back in what's just a second for you, but will be overnight for me. Okay, let's carry on with our experiment. This is the next morning and we'll continue on. Okay, I'll show you the ingredients, but if you are not in the Andes, I don't think you're going to be able to find any sort of equal substitution. Here we have the whole freeze-dried Andean potatoes, and this is the part that I just don't think that you'll be able to duplicate. I looked a little bit online to see if there was something comparable, and no dice, couldn't find anything like that. So this recipe will kind of be more of a fun experiment, and I'm glad to have you along with me. Next comes what might be called farmer cheese, young cheese. Here is called Andean cheese. It's almost feta-like, and it's soft and a bit salty. Next we will have salt, and then we'll have butter. Very simple ingredients, but remember, this is kind of a sustenance type dish, not a fancy luxury dish. So let's carry on. Okay, this is what the potatoes look like the next day. You can see that they're quite swollen and they have absorbed a bunch of the water. I did a number of water changes from the time I put it in until today, and they seem to have plumped up nicely. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt to the water. Bring these to a boil, and they should cook for 15 to 20 minutes. Not be mushy. And let's see what that looks like when we get that far. In the meantime, we'll cut up our cheese and get that ready. The recipe calls for Andean cheese. It should not be melty. The recipe stresses should not be melty. So no cheddar, that's not that melty. No mozzarella, no jack. And this wouldn't be very easy to shred since it's pretty wet. So can you see this? It's got these cute little holes in it. And it's kind of wet, a little bit, well, quite a bit soft. So I'm going to cut these in little cubes or little slices and hope that that's somewhere in the right direction. Okay, these have been boiling for about 20 minutes, and the recipe says that you should be able to pierce with a knife but not be mushy. And since I never cooked this kind of potato before, it's a little bit hard to tell. This one is a big one. Well, that went in fairly easily. That one might be a little tough. I'm going to give these maybe 2 or 3 more minutes, drain them, and let them cool off a little bit, and we'll be right back. Okay, the potatoes have had a chance to drain and cool off. I just want to show you something. I am a Midwest girl, and when I look at these look like snowballs that you make when the snow is really wet and slushy. These kind of look like slushy snowballs. And another thing that I have to tell you is I think I severely underestimated how much these were going to expand. We have more potatoes here than I think we can eat in a week. But we'll make the dish, and then maybe tomorrow I'll try and make these with like scrambled eggs or something like that. So that's been kind of fun and a completely new experience. I greatly underestimated how much these were going to rehydrate and expand to. Let's get these cut up and continue with the dish. Okay, I think I'm going to cut these the long way so that we can get more surface touching the butter part. That's my thought anyway. I don't know. And I think like this big guy that's got the potato skin still on it. I think I'm going to try and get that off. I don't know if it matters or not, but I'll cut it off and work with the potato without the skin. This is like big snowball size, so I'm thinking I gotta cut this in at least a couple of sections. Yeah, this one's real gray. I have no idea what that means or if I should be concerned, but we're gonna go with it. This seems a little firm on the inside. But it's soft. It's not firm. It's soft, so I'm just wondering if it's fully hydrated. This has been such a fun thing to try. This is way out of any other type of cooking that I've ever tried to do, and I'm having a ball, and I can't wait to see if it turns out. This is the same pan that I use to boil the potatoes in. It's kind of a squatty pot or maybe a tall pan, and I'm just melting some butter and a little bit of margarine. I'm hoping the margarine will make it a little bit more slippery and the butter will make it a little bit more tasty. The recipe calls for butter, but you know, I can never follow a recipe, so we're going to let that get hot. We're going to let that get hot, and then we're going to place our potatoes in there and take it from there. Okay, I may have been a little generous with the butter, but these feel like they're just going to soak everything up. I'm going to place these in here kind of strategically. I don't think these are going to be able to be flipped very much. I think they're going to want to kind of disintegrate. So I want to get them warming. Get the surface of the potato and the butter. And get my little slushy snowballs cooking. My burner must be a little crooked because the butter is settling to one side. I want to get the potatoes nice and warmed up. They weren't cold, they were room temperature, but they were resting until we got to this place in the recipe. Since I want them to be heated all the way through, and they seem to be a little more slidey than I thought they might be, I'm going to try and see if I can flip them. So far, so good. They're flipping. Let that butter get on all the surfaces. I'm going to put in just a very, very small sprinkle of salt. And now for the last step, I'm going to put in my cubed up Andean fresh farmer cheese. Remember, the recipe says that this should not be melty, any kind of melty cheese, that this will soften and kind of not be as much in the cube anymore, but it won't melt. And this is kind of the secret from what I understand. I'm going to put this on and not dilly-dally around like I am. And actually shut the heat off and let that warm up the cheese. Give it a minute and then we'll plate it and see what it's like. Okay, everything looks warmed up and like it is ready to be tasted. Let's serve up a little. Let's serve up a taste of this and see what Moraya con Queso is all about. Okay, so this is certainly not going to win any beautiful awards, but that's not always necessary or what determines if it's good or not. So let's take a little taste. I have no idea what to expect. The cheese is squeaky because it's warm and it's fresh farmer type Andino cheese. The potato has kind of a firmness to it that I didn't expect. The taste is pleasing. There's nothing offensive about it. Now, am I going to do jumping jacks for this because it's so wonderful? No, but is it good? Yeah, it's kind of like, how exciting do you get over oatmeal unless you load a bunch of stuff in it, apples, raisins, brown sugar, whatever you like. But there is also something kind of comforting about just the taste of the oatmeal. And I would say that never having tasted this before, and this is not my ancestry or my history, I'd put it in that category. There is something that does feel comforting about it and basic, and I could see how this would be like a grandma type food. Like my grandma makes the best Moraya con queso, because everybody's grandma maybe made it. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But I think this was the best part about this was trying something new. I can't imagine rehydrating a potato, little white rock that this big turns into a potato this big. This could be sitting on a shelf somewhere and be shelf stable for years. Hydrate it, put some cheese and butter and salt on it. There you go. So in that way, I think it was a great success. And I just had a lot of fun learning about how this works and something I've never even heard about before. So I'm so glad and honored that I got to try this dish. So I want to say thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see you on the next one.